Associate Professor, SPS Faishal Ibrahim.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, before I begin my speech, I'd like to thank Member Lee Bee-Hua for her heartfelt plea to preserve our harmony. Sir, I rise in support of the motion. Freedom of speech comes with a cost. When this means excluding communities and fracturing our society, it is a cost that we cannot bear. In its simplest form, hate speech can manifest in a single tweet or passing comment. Yet, malicious content and intent can easily create unfounded fear and suspicion. With the expansion of new platforms, hate speech can now come in numerous forms of expressions which proliferates, incites, or legitimizes any form of hatred based on intolerance. In a multicultural state like Singapore, it is inevitable that societal fault lines exist. However, hate speech exploits and deepens these fault lines, creating an echo chamber, polarizing our society, and threatens the very essence of our existence. For this reason, I'm glad that our approach to the increasing prevalence of hate speech has been a firm ban against it, in any form, in any medium. Whilst other countries may allow it in the name of freedom of speech, here we recognize the very real and severe implications that hate speech can have. Such an approach has helped to prevent fault lines in our society from being exploited by individuals or groups with extremist agendas. It has become increasingly apparent that extremist groups on both ends of the spectrums feed off each other's intolerance. By doing so, they create animosity where there were none, suspicion which was previously absent, and divisions in place of unity. With the increased prevalence of hate speech and efforts to curb it, our society now begins to question whether the provisions we have are sufficient or even necessary. Where does hate speech begin, and how can we terminate its progression? Seemingly innocuous offensive comments may lead to the development of hate speech. Yet, it is difficult to draw a definitive line as to what should be banned or not. This is particularly because offensive speech exists on a continuum of varying levels of hostility. Hence, it is pertinent that such cases still be evaluated on a case-by-case basis to consider the context and content of such statements. A similar challenge faced in eradicating hate speech is its prevalence in different mediums. Music, in particular, is an effective platform to instill and spread notions of animosity. Music can be weaponized as it easily desensitizes one to hateful perceptions. The frequent exposure to such themes in unconventional genres can legitimize and deepen intolerance. While Singaporeans have the freedom to access various forms of entertainment, music that undermines our social and cultural stability is untenable. Hence, the regulation of music and entertainment is crucial to preventing the spread of hate. Whilst we may think of our multiracial and multireligious harmony as a delicate balance that needs to be protected, there is room for constructive efforts to strengthen our community's resilience in facing hate. Within our local community, artists can provide a countervailing narrative towards hate speech. In this way, music can be utilized to deepen interactions and strengthen our community. In my role in the Malay Language Council and Malay Language Learning and Promotion Committee, I have engaged many professionals in the music, art, and literature fraternities. Among these individuals, I am pleased to share that there is a resounding rejection against music, art, and literature that purported hateful sentiments. Sir, allow me to continue my speech in Malay. Dalam masyarakat Melayu, identiti kita tergambar dalam amalan tradisi masyarakat kita atau cara kita memaparkan diri kepada masyarakat-masyarakat lain. Ucapan kebencian akan hanya meminggirkan dan memisahkan kumpulan minoriti. Dalam tindakan harian dan kepribadian kita, sewajarnya kita menunjukkan empati dan keihsanan. Dengan berbuat demikian, kita dapat menolak pernyataan kebencian yang tidak berasas. Pada masa yang sama, kita tidak harus terpengaruh oleh mereka yang mahu menyalakan api kebencian antara kita dengan masyarakat lain. Kita harus prihatin akan niat jahat mereka yang akan hanya memisahkan kita daripada warga Singapura yang lain. Kesantunan dan berbudi pekerti merupakan nilai-nilai teras identiti kita. Nilai-nilai ini mengingatkan kita bahawa ucapan kebencian bercanggah dengan pegangan prinsip-prinsip kita. Kita tidak harus terlibat dalam penyebaran ucapan-ucapan kebencian melalui media sosial. Jika tidak, kita akan merosakkan masyarakat kita. Kita mempunyai tanggungjawab untuk menyangkal pernyataan palsu tersebut. Seperti peribahasa kita, cubit paha kiri, paha kanan terasa juga. Kita harus prihatin akan kesejahteraan orang-orang yang menjadi sasaran ucapan kebencian. Dalam usaha sama kita untuk membenteras ucapan-ucapan kebencian, kita harus membina daya bingkas terhadap pernyataan berbau kebencian. Melalui sastra, seni dan muzik, kita boleh menyampaikan mesej atau pesanan yang menggalakkan perpaduan. Antara wahana yang kita boleh gunakan, muzik boleh begitu menyela sebagai tenaga penyatu yang dapat melawan pengaruh-pengaruh yang menggalakkan permusuhan. Penggiat-penggiat muzik yang saya dekati sebulat suara menolak aspek-aspek kebencian dalam lirik, lagu dan persembahan mereka. Penggiat-penggiat ini yang datang dari latar belakang yang berlainan serta yang mapan dan muda menyatakan muzik yang mereka didangkan berunsur positif dan menegakkan perpaduan dan pembangunan masyarakat dan negara. Satu lagi contoh yang khusus dalam masyarakat kita ialah seni dikir barat yang kita dapat gunakan untuk menyanggah ucapan-ucapan kebencian. Encik Johan Abdul Rahman, pengasas Andika Kencana dan juga mantan Presiden Persekutuan Dikir Barat dan anggota Asas 50 telah berkongsi dengan saya bahawa saya nukil perkongsiannya. Lirik memainkan peranan penting dalam persembahan Dikir Barat. Oleh itu, lirik yang negatif menyalakan api kebencian dan keganasan dan akan memberikan kesan buruk terhadap masyarakat seni. Pengaruh ini akan tersebar kepada para penggiat seni dan peserta yang terbiasa dengan tema-tema sedemikian melalui raptai dan persembahan. Oleh itu, lirik Dikir Barat menggalakkan persekitaran kehidupan harmoni dan perkongsian pengalaman dan nilai bersama. Para penggiat Dikir Barat secara sedar telah berusaha untuk mengukuhkan perpaduan masyarakat sebagai senjata untuk membenteras sentimen kebencian. Cikgu Suratman Makassar, seorang penerima pingat budaya dan juga pemenang Anugerah Tun Sri Lanang dan tokoh Majlis Sastra Asia Tenggara, iaitu MASTRA, menekankan bahawa karya-karya sastra yang menggalakkan rasa benci terhadap masyarakat-masyarakat lain bukanlah nilai-nilai yang terdapat dalam budaya masyarakat Melayu. Justru tidak harus digalakkan dan dibaca. Seperti yang terdapat dalam lirik lagu Bukan Kerana Nama oleh Ramli Sarip. Saya nukil liriknya. Jangan kau dengar puisi dusta, kerana dia merosakkan jiwamu. Dengarkanlah puisi di pusaka yang telah turun-menurun hari ini. Lagu ini menyampaikan tema sifat kasih sayang sesama insan. Sewajarnya, sifat inilah yang harus kita sebarkan. Sir, allow me to continue my speech in English. Besides removing hate speech from our media platforms, the best protection against hateful sentiments is the strength of the community. This is because hate speech is not just a means of expression, but a reflection of deeper attitudes and perceptions. To make our communities less susceptible to the manipulation of such hateful narratives, we need to increase the depth of our cross-cultural and religious exchanges. It comes in the most proximate groups of people we interact with, our neighbors, colleagues, and peers. It is important to deepen such relations to gain a personal understanding of the cultures and customs of different peoples. Recognize that tolerance and understanding are not enough to deter hate. Trust is what we need. This is especially pertinent given that trust is not a given in a multicultural society. Not even in Singapore. A recent IPS survey showed that 15% of respondents found Muslims threatening. This means that Singapore's multi-religious fabric is still vulnerable to the threat of hate speech. While in this case, it reveals how continuous and heightened reporting of terrorism by some in the name of Islam has brought out misgivings to the Muslims in Singapore. More importantly, it indicates that more than just being inclusive, our communities need to build confidence and trust with each other. This work is never done because every incident causes a backslide. This building of trust starts from home too. When our children have their first interactions with others from different races or religions, it helps for us to guide them along and answer their queries. More importantly, we should encourage a sense of empathy in our children to humanize Singaporeans from different racial and religious groups. It can come in the little things, inviting their friends over for festivals, or advising against any hateful comments spreading on social media. As their closest advisors, we provide the next generation the way forward in the uncertain terrain of these times, often ridden with hate. Sir, as a minority, I welcome Minister Shamugam's and the government assurances on this matter. I am sure other minorities do so. Our government stand would give all minorities the confidence that they will be protected from the target of hate, their culture will be preserved, and they can practice their religions peacefully. All of us as minorities should play our part too. My community too. We should never leave this to chance. I call upon our community leaders to lead and steward the community to be appreciative of how precious our social compact is and be active to preserve it. Sir, as a Singaporean, I pledge to play my part in strengthening our social compact and contribute to the building of confidence and trust in our society. I call upon all my parliamentary colleagues and fellow Singaporeans in making this pledge. Sir, ultimately as a country, we need to protect our unity. Hate speech thrives on division and schism. To deny its influence, there must be a common conviction against intolerance. Sir, this means standing up for groups that are targeted by hate speech. This means providing comfort for others who feel alienated. This means feeling for others even though we belong to a different race or religious group. The challenge of hate speech means our community needs to move beyond being understanding and tolerant. We are now called upon to support, protect, and defend one another. Thank you.